So in this session we'll look at prepayment invoices, which is a type of invoice that you would enter to create an advance payment for expenses to a supplier or an employee. A couple of points. Due to the constraints of the API, the Oracle API, there can only be one prepayment line per invoice, as it uses the header interface table and won't recognize multiple line applications. The prepayment invoice must obviously exist, it must be validated, and it must be paid in full, and the status must be available in Oracle before application. The prepayment invoice number and details need to be keyed into the worksheet, as there's no list of values available on the form or in a form because of the restriction in terms of the API. And it's create only and also a one-time application. So a couple of points to note just before we start. So in the spreadsheet I have some data pre-populated. You'll note the invoice type is prepayment, and that can be selected from the drop-down list of values, or indeed can be typed directly into the appropriate cell. So we have the details there, and we have the line information there in terms of accounting. So quite a straightforward invoice. So once we have the details in the sheet, we go ahead and do the process in terms of validation and upload, and then we submit the payables import. And we're able to track the progress of the import. Once complete, we're able to then refresh the invoice. And in this case, the status is unvalidated. So what we need to do is submit the invoice Oracle validation. So we'll go ahead and do that. Essentially the same process as what we've just been through, and we can then view the concurrent requests associated with this. Once complete, refresh the sheet, and the status then changes to unpaid. So the next step is to log into Oracle and essentially pay that prepayment invoice. So we find the invoice in Oracle, as you can see, and then essentially what we can do from here is go through the payment process. So once we have paid the invoice, we can now go back to spreadsheet. And if we were to refresh the spreadsheet on that particular invoice, the validation status now changes to available. So at this point, we can go ahead and create the invoice based on the prepayment invoice. So I have the details in the spreadsheet, so now we're creating a standard invoice. And what we need to do now is essentially put the detail in with regard to the prepayment invoice that we've just created. And what we'll do is we'll fully apply this. And we go through exactly the same process. So we'll do our upload selected, submit the payables import, and once complete, again using the refresh, And once the refresh is complete, you'll see now we have the validation status of fully applied against the prepayment invoice, and we have created that invoice based on the prepayment invoice. So that is the process. So we pop into Oracle and find the invoice we've just created, as we can see here. And we can see the prepayment details with regard to that particular invoices. So that's the process of the creation and matching and using a prepayment invoice.